This is the story of one Columbus Paddling Club trip. On this trip, 3 of us decided to follow the path of the historic Johnstown Flood. To do so, we paddled the Little Conemaugh River, which is a Class 2 to 3 river, excluding one Class 5 rapid. As one always should, we checked the levels, and they looked good. The first order of business was heading to the town of Mineral Point, which was our takeout location. There, we dropped a shuttle vehicle, and then we headed to the town of St. Michael, which was where our put-in was. What is currently the town of St. Michael was actually under 40 to 50 feet of water under the lake created by the South Fork Dam, the one that burst and caused the flood. Before long, we approached the location of the former dam, which you can see in the right corner of this video here, its original location. Mary spotted it and wanted to get out and check it out, while Rick and I waited.
What's that?
Get out, that's fine.
Okay.
Really?
I am now. I saw the look on your face. I thought it might be fun.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna delete that video.
This is the view Mary got by climbing up the old dam and looking across. Rick and I are in the river below, and we would have been under a lot of water in 1889. As we paddled away from the location of the former dam, it was hard not to think about what David McCullough had written about the Great Flood. He said, and I'm quoting, "Studies by civil engineers indicated that the water charged into the valley at a velocity and depth comparable to that of the Niagara River as it reaches Niagara Falls. Or to put it another way, the bursting of the South Fork Dam was about like turning Niagara Falls into the valley for 36 minutes. Imagine that as you look at these video clips of us paddling not far below that dam. There weren't many rapids before we got to the old washed out dam, but once we passed it, slowly but surely, we started to encounter a little bit steeper gradient and a little bit more frequent rapids. In short, things started to get a little more fun.
Getting more fun.
Yeah.
About here, we were arriving at the confluence of the Little Conemaugh in South Fork. According to the author McCullough, by this point in the flood, there was a wall of water 40 feet high, moving at about 10 to 15 miles an hour, filled with tons of debris. Not far below the confluence, there is a low-head dam, otherwise known as a killing machine. Rick and Mary and I had to carry our boats around the low-head dam for safety purposes.
presuming they don't swim the bottom of the next rapid.
Because they wouldn't want to go through a class 5 at high water with no life jacket.
And sun dolphins and no helmets.
Right.
We ultimately talked to these boaters and persuaded them that they should take off the river or walk around the class 5 rapid they were heading toward. This is the Conemaugh Viaduct. It's rebuilt from the one that was there at the time of the 1889 flood. That one, according to author McCullough, for a brief instant, Lake Conemaugh formed again some 5.5 miles downstream from its original resting place. It gathered itself together, held now by another dam, which, however temporary, was nonetheless as high as the first one. And when this second dam let go, it did so even more suddenly, with greater violence than the first one. The bridge collapsed all at once, and the water exploded into the valley with its power now concentrated again by the momentary delay. Just downstream from the Conemaugh Viaduct was the town of Mineral Point, our takeout. Mineral Point was basically wiped off the map in the 1889 flood, but it has somewhat recovered.
Yeah, this isn't bad.
Unlike the town of Mineral Point, Rick's reputation is not going to recover from using this to change under. All kidding aside, once we got dried off and put on some fresh clothes, we went back to the put-in, and then we visited the South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club. Then we headed into Johnstown, where we decided we would grab a bite to eat before doing some sightseeing. This is the view from the inclined plane above the city of Johnstown, from the left looking through the flow of the Conemaugh River, which we had paddled into town, and then coming in from the right, the Stony Creek, which together merged in the area you're looking at now and completely destroyed it in 1889, and a number of times since. On the way into town for dinner, Mary noticed these painted bridge abutments, and we visited them after we took our trip to the inclined plane. As the sun set and the moon rose, we headed back to camp and got ready to do it all over again the next day, this time on the lower Yaak. But that's a story for a different video.